to one and all, it is I, your insufferable captain, returneth from an adventure on the high seas. To those of you who have in my absence remained loyal followers, I present you with a hearty handshake. And to those of you who have deserted ship, a pox upon thee, may the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits. Well, I certainly have been gone a long time. And I have a couple of AOKs and a shout out and show you some comic books. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm not going to do a lot of explaining, Lucy, because I can tell you that as I go along, you know. First of all, my good buddy Steve, Charlton 66. Now, this is already 2 months ago. I knew he was sending me this book. But then some time passed and certain things were happening, you know, with me in my life, and I had forgotten about it. But he finally did send this, and then I didn't upload a video because I was really involved in some intense personal goings-on in my life. But I finally have the opportunity to thank him properly for sending me this. This is a book that I've been after for a while. I looked for it at half-price books. I looked for it at Ollie's. Could not find it. I didn't want to buy it from Amazon because it was too much money. Then you gotta, if you don't spend 35 bucks, you gotta pay shipping, you gotta pay taxes. So I didn't bother buying it from there. I figured I'd find it eventually at Ollie's or half-price books, but I never did. And then he contacted me and asked me if I wanted this book. He said he had this, a copy of this, and I said, heck yeah, I jumped at the opportunity, of course. This was a card series that introduced me heavily, got me heavily involved in American pop culture. 2 years prior, this came out in 1962. 2 years prior, I got involved in comic books at the ripe age of, what, 8, I think I was. And then in 1962, I was 10 years old, and these came out. And I was just enthralled by that time with everything that was American pop culture. I originally had 2 sets of these cards, 2 complete sets, but they're both gone now. I still have several of the original cards left, but my 2 original complete sets are gone now. Look at that. The infamous cows burning. What a great card series this was. Oh my God. And then they were banned because there was a lot of negative response to this, you know, especially, you know, I think this original card here, when it was originally drawn, I think Bob Powell, before it had the finished art, Bob Powell did some of the preliminary drawings on it, and it had a lot of blood to it. The dog was half skeletonized, and there was meat hanging from it, and they said, no, that might be a little bit too intense for the kids, you know. But as it turned out, the entire series was too intense, not for the kids, but for the parents. So they were, you know, they were kind of censored, banned. They had to stop production of them. But they remained in the American, in the mind of American pop culture enthusiasts for all the way up until now, and it probably will for another 100 years if we don't knock ourselves out with nuclear war or something like that. But I'm really happy to get this from Steve, Charlton 66. Thank you so much, my brother. I thank you 1,000 times, man. I'm so happy to have this. And it's got a wrapper, like the original wrapper on the 5 cent, the nickel packages, because they were 5 cents, and you would get the gum in there, and I think 5 cards. And this was the wrapper, and the wrappers are hard to find and worth a lot of money. So I'm really... Oh, wait, I think there is a picture of a photograph of an actual full wrapper here. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. I think that these are the most popular non-sports card trading cards of all time, and I love them very much. But what Steve also sent me, unexpected, completely unexpected, was this book. It's a novel, well, kind of a, in my opinion, kind of a historical novel. It takes place during the 1939 World's Fair. I almost said 1964 World's Fair because they had two. They had one in 64 and the first one in 1939, where this takes place. And it's kind of a nostalgic look back to that time, to that era. New York City, let me read you something from the back. New York City clings to the remnants of the past with horse-drawn wagons, street peddlers, hurdy-gurdy men still toiling in its streets. For 9-year-old Edgar Altshuler, life is a stoop ball. Stoop ball. That's a name for. I think they used to play on the front stoops. They play with the ball and hit the ball on the stairs. Something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's the reference to stoop ball. And radio serials idolizing Joe DiMaggio and enduring the conflicts between their Israel's mother and dreamer of a father. All in the shadow of the forthcoming World's Fair. So this it's going to be a great book to read. Great book. I'm going to enjoy reading that. Thanks again, Steve. Check out Steve Charlton 66's channel. I'll leave the link in the description box. As the name implies, most of you already probably know him anyway, but as the name implies, his forte is Charlton Comics, which, in my opinion, is a very underrated comic book company, but sometimes deservedly so because they used very mediocre covers most of the time. And they also had typeset that they used and that didn't give it that personal feeling, in my opinion. But because of that, they weren't looked at that much, and that's a shame because a lot of the stories were great, and the artwork in the interiors were very good. And the stories from the 1950s, the horror stories in the 1950s that was put out by Charlton, and Steve Ditko did a lot of the work for them at that time. They were just tremendous, and I think highly underrated. And some of the artwork on the covers of the 1950s Charlton books was just terrific. And even in the 1960s and early 70s, guys like Tom Sutton did a lot of great artwork. Ghostly Tales and well, other ones, I can't remember them all, but so Steve is also interested in other things besides Charlton Comics. You know, he's also goes into some DC comics and Marvel comics. It's not just strictly Charlton, but that's his forte. And he's also a great he has some pulp magazines. He has Big Little books. He has a lot of original art. He has I want to say an interest in old radio shows, and it's a great channel. You have to subscribe to him if you have an opportunity. Check out the link in the description. You can give him a sub. You won't regret that you did. And that's Steve Charlton 66. Next in alphabetical order, I got a shout out. I discovered this new channel. I don't know how old the channel is. Dope Comics. I think he joined in. I think he's been making videos for about 2 years, but he's new to me. Now, he might have had the channel up an account or something a lot longer than that, but he's been making videos about 2 years, and I just discovered him. He's new to me, but it's a great channel, Dope Comics. He has all the same interests that I do in the vein of horror. So he does a lot of, he collects everything horror, the action figures, the comic books, and he had some great reviews. I was particularly interested in his opinion on the Oni. You know, first of all, Time Travel Comics, when he had heard, you know, Leo is a good friend of mine, he texted me, hey, have you heard Oni Comics is reviving the EC brand? And I don't want, you know, it's all like a bait and switch to me. I didn't have any confidence in that they were going to have any great, you know, they live up to the old EC standards. So I didn't have too much confidence in that. And I thought about maybe I'll pick some of those books up to try them out, you know, and see. And then I came across Dope Comics, and lo and behold, I was glad I did, because he was doing some reviews on those very books from Oni Press, and they were crap, just like I thought they were crap. The covers were beautiful, and it's just what I thought, bait and switch. He showed the interior art, you know, and I'm glad he did, because it was garbage. $5 a book, and I'm not going to spend that. They just gave EC a bad name. It's really trash. And the stories were not that great either. You know, he was going through the stories and the artwork, and it was just bad. One book after another. So I'm glad I didn't even... Yeah, I was considering picking some up, and I'm glad I didn't, you know, because I let him spend the money for that garbage so I don't have to. And I mean that in a good way, not a bad way or anything, but... So I was happy to see that, and he just does a lot of great reviews on all the new stuff that's coming out as it relates to horror. So check him out. Check out Dope Comics, and I will leave. That's Dope Comics, with comics with an X on the end of it. Not that it means adult. It's not adult, but just an X at the end of it. Check him out. I'll leave the link in the description box. And number 3... What was it? Time Travel Comics. Leo, he sent me... Well, he didn't send these to me. I see him, you know, all the time. And every time we get together for lunch or something, he's got some goodies for me. I don't know. He makes it to half-price books, and sometimes he goes further out in the suburbs and comes across, you know, knick-knack stores and other comic shops. And he's always picking me up something. Picking something up for me sounds more grammatically correct. Worlds of Fear. This is one of the books that he got me. I'm so happy to have these whenever he gets these. And he does pick these up from time to time for me from what was it, PS Art Books. So I'm always happy to get these. This is a book that I have in my collection, Worlds Beyond #1. Let's see if I have... I probably got a few more of these. This is just great. The color reproduction is not as high quality as it could have been. The covers are reproduced very well, but the interior art, you know, it just doesn't look... It's, you know, bleeding through. You can see the newsprint behind the color coming through. That was one that I did not have, that Worlds of Fear. At least I don't remember having that. I can have to check on that later on. That's the Worlds of Fear that I have. I've showed it before, as a matter of fact, in my comic book Smackdown with Night Tiger Comics. I think that was one of the books that I've shown. And this one I also have. Just absolutely wonderful. I'm so happy to have these books. Here's another one that I have. I think I might have showed this as well. So he got me that. And let's see, what else did he get me here? He gets a lot of stuff for me when he went to France, and he went to a comic book store over there, and they mostly had American comics, but also some other. I think this is a Spanish comic. Look at this. Sensazione de terror. Violación en el convento. $390. That ain't too bad. $309 ain't bad at all. I pay twice that much for that. I pay $900 for that. That's for sure. They ripped themselves off. Where am I? What did I do? Then he picked up this. And it's this is a Spanish language. He picked this up in a French store. It's Spanish language, and he picked it up in that same French comic shop. It's just reprints the original USA version. But it certainly is interesting. I like the way they put the sticker on the back, right on the comic book. Look at that. The French, they are a peculiar race. What else did he get me here? Scooter. I don't even think I have any. This is the first Scooter comic that I have ever gotten. I don't have any Scooter comics that I'm aware of. I got so much shit back here, it's unbelievable. But this is pretty nice. Look at that. Late Silver Age book. Then he got me this lovely book. This is Archie's Rival. It's a 12-cent comic book. Archie's Rival Reggie. And what did I write back here? The date was, so I don't have to pull it out. This is, what number is this? I think it was number 15 from 1963. Let's take it out of here. I don't know. Let's take it out of here and take a look at it, is what I'd like to do. Oh, you know what? Since I'm in my English language lingo, I'm going to have myself a nice cup of tea. Come here, you lousy rat. Scurvy dog. Got a special look. Special mug, special love for this mug because it's got me name on it. Captain Strangelife. Nice red color for Halloween. Blood red for Halloween. To me, it's Halloween all year long. I love Halloween. I love the autumn, the fall, whatever you want to call it. Autumn, fall. Whoa! What in the name of the merry horrors of Madame Bellamy's kitty house was that? In the name of the merry horrors of Madame Bellamy's kitty house. What was that? Don't know what happened there. But there you go. Captain Strangelife. Nice cup of tea. And I'll have the gray man know that I made a right and proper cup of tea. He's always scolding me for not making a right and proper cup of tea, but I have this time. I heated up the water in a pot. I took the tea bag and poured the water over the tea bag into the cup. And I'll have you know, it's Earl Grey. What a nice cup of tea. Oh. That's like to scare the bejesus out of me there. Reggie, let's take a look at this. I think it's number 15. 1963. Number 15, 1963. I always love the ads, the crazy ads they have in here. Let's take a look at some of the ads in Reggie here. Usual Muscle Man ad. Typical. The obligatory Muscle Man ads. At your own live sea circus. Amazing Risk Radio. I'd rather have the Dick Tracy original. And what is this? Sea Circus? I think they ripped Uncle Milty off. Uncle Milty created the original sea monkeys. Well, he didn't create them, but he, you know, sea monkeys were nothing more than brine shrimp eggs, and you put them in the water and then they hatch. What a gimmick. Loved by millions. Let's see, we have an ad here. Oh yeah, is this the Johnson Company? Honor House. Can you imagine having one of those lighters in your car, you know, and you pull it out to light a cigarette while you're at a traffic stop, you're being stopped because of a traffic infringement? You get shot and killed. Oh, look at this. What is this? Hello, Bob. Have you found that underseas treasure? Underseas treasure? By golly, that looks like Diver Dan. Did you ever watch that series, Diver Dan on Garfield Goose? Fraser Thomas, Garfield Goose. That was a little series that, oh, look at that, man. You got the bear. There's Diver Dan. Look at that. There's Diver Dan. There's the Barracuda. There's the shark. Well, the shark, he looks like Mr. Jaws. By golly, it's Diver Dan. I bet you they got the idea for that from the Diver Dan series. I'll bet you. Jaw. That does look like Mr. Jaw. Or maybe Jabberjaws. There was another one. Jabberjaws? Yeah. Look at that. Does anybody remember that? Anybody my age? You know, I'm 72 years old, goddammit. I was born in 1952. So I thank you, Leo. He also picked this up for you. He knows I love Conan. I don't care if I got doubles, triples, or anything of that. I love it every time I see. If you see something, you know, it sounded cheap, you find he's in a dollar bin. I told him, pick him up, man. Love my Conan. Now this, I wonder, yeah, he must have got the Strange Stories. Look for $1, man. Late Silver Age. Ghostly Tales, Charlton. Talk about Steve, Charlton 66. Here's a Ghostly Tales number 65. Look at that. Oops, sorry. 75 cents. Well, it's probably a buck. I think it's a cover by, it says Rocky, must be Rocky Master Serio. Ah, here's Men of Mystery. Blue Bolt 105. This is the art done originally by L.B. Cole, and they modified it for this reproduction, and it looks pretty good. I love the colors. I wish I had the original Blue Bolt 105 to do the comparison, but it's based on that artwork, and it's just beautiful. Look at that. I probably couldn't afford the original anyway, 105 of Blue Bolt, but this is Men of Mystery number 42. Just beautiful. Love that. Then there was these. This series, I think there might have only been, I think there were 4, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there was. And they're all here. Huh. All right, they're all here. Marvel came out with this series, and they were all reprints of previous stuff that was published, I think probably in Atlas Comics. Here's a Steve Ditko story. You could tell that right away. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. They didn't even have to sign it, which they did, but I knew it was them. Do not panic. I'm not sure. Let me see here. These came out, they were publishing these in 1993. But what they didn't do, though, was write down, was give an indication where these stories were taken from what title and what issue number and what year. Except down here, originally presented in Adventures, I can barely read that shit. Adventures in Terror number 4. This one has it written down. Adventures in Terror number 4. That's where the brain story comes from. Look at that. Artwork by Russ Heath. He signed it there. What a great artist he was. Russ Heath. God. Damn thing won't focus. There you go. One of these days when I get the money, I'll have much better camera equipment, you know, but can't see spending the money on that really now. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Curse of the Weird. Oddest comics ever. Yeah, we got Curse of the Weird number, well, that was number what, 1? Curse of the Weird number 2. You must see the unsolid man. Am I dead or what? If you don't know if you're dead or not, then you might as well be. The Ghost of Grismore Castle. Look at that. It's obvious Steve Ditko artwork. I don't know, man. You know, I'm not that familiar with this series, but this is the Ghost of Grismore Castle. Where was that originally published? Beautiful Steve Ditko artwork. I mean, amazing artwork. Oh, damn, I think I got a dog ear here I gotta fix. Ghost of Grismore Castle. You know, I think it's from Strange Tales. See how they have this written down here? 5 Strange Tales. I think that could have been all from that, originally from that title. So the Ghost of Grismore Castle, that looks familiar to me, sounds familiar to me, I don't know. Could be late 50s, could be early 60s. Probably is from Strange Tales. Then we got the Curse of the Weird number 3. Talk about Basil Wolverton. Weremonster's Well. So this must be stories from Weremonster's Dwell, maybe, or at least some of them. Let's see if I can't find something that'll tell us that. No, it won't. I could probably look this up in the Grand Comics database and find out, of course. But I can do that now. But Russ Heath artwork. For those not familiar with Russ Heath, he was very famous for doing those very colorful ads for the Roman soldiers that you would always find in the back of the comic books. And he did the no, not the Civil War soldiers. Or did he do the Civil War soldiers? No, he did the Roman soldiers, and he did the oh man, there was another one. The Revolutionary War soldiers. That was a big one. He was most famous for. You'd always see the Revolutionary War soldiers that ad on the back of the comics and sometimes in the comics. That was Russ Heath. You're a zombie. You are a zombie. Uncanny Tales of Terror. Look at that beautiful artwork back then. Compared to what the crap they got today. It's just unreal, I say. Leo got me quite a bundle here, you know. Sometimes I don't see him for a month and he picks up all these different comic books from his travels and stuff like that. He's always thinking of me. Such a great guy, such a good friend. And I will leave the link to his channel as well in the description box, Time Travel Comics. All these people that I have mentioned, Time Travel Comics, Dope Comics, Steve, Charlton 66. It's not, to them, it's not about strictly investing in comic books for the money. It's not, it's for the love of the books, the comics, reading them, you know, it's the hobby. They just enjoy it. They enjoy reading the stories and collecting. And it's not to turn, you know, a profit. Some people are in it, and there's nothing wrong, you know, for investing in books. In the future, you want to turn a profit on them. But if that's the only reason why you're doing it, you know, that you're missing out on a lot of what the hobby is really meant to be. Reading these great stories, immersing yourself in nostalgia, the artwork. Archie Annual. 21st issue. Archie Giant Size. Let's see what they actually refer to it as. Archie Annual number 21. It's in the Giant Size series. It's Archie Annual 21. I love this cover. That was at a time when you'd listen to records, get together in a record shop, and you could hang out there, and you'd still have a lot of these little diners and greasy spoons, you know, with jukeboxes, even at this time. This is in 1969, 1970. A whole different time. Enjoyable time. I got so many books to read, and I do want to read. I want to read them all. This is Blue Beetle number 12. From DC. Side by side with the new Teen Titans. John Carter. Warlord of Mars. Number 8. Great artwork. Great artwork. Scooter I already showed you, and we got back down here to the stuff he picked up while he was in France. Lord have mercy. In the name of the merry horrors of Madame Bellamy's kitty house, I done did it again. What was that? What was that? Like to give me a old heart attack there. Oh, hey, look at this. I was inspired to buy this shirt because I saw Shannon. I was watching one of his videos and he had the shirt on, and I asked him where he got it. He couldn't remember, but there were a lot of different people making these shirts, you know. And I looked around online and I found one that I thought would present, you know, a nice shirt with a nice production of the cover. This is one of my favorite horror comics of all time. Chamber of Chills number 19. Let me show you. This is it right here. I gotta stand up and show you the damn thing. Woo! What the hell? Looks like I could use a size 2 bra. Oh! I love it so much I even got the Super 7 reaction figure. Chamber of Chills 19. Let's see if I can get a close-up on this without the blur. There we go. Stay with me. Stay with me. I said stay with me. She's even got the cigarette in her hand. And there's a little champagne glass or a martini glass or whatever the hell it is she's drinking. And I will show you the comic. I showed it before. Here. This is an expensive book. I hadn't realized this until this year. I bought this book. What did I pay for it? I was going to say $80. No, but I got it written down here. I paid $60 for it in 2003. That's what I paid for this book. There it is. This book is from... let me take it out of the Mylar. You can get a better look at it. I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Some really great shape, too. From 1953, Chamber of Chills number 19. Fantastic. I think it's... I'm not sure. I think it's Lee Elias, but I'm not sure. Here's the back of it. And I have I originally put these are called life extenders that are put out by BCW. It's supposed to be on the order of the microchamber papers, but it's nothing like microchamber papers. But BCW claims that these absorb, you know, contaminants and odors and that sort of thing. So I didn't have the microchamber paper at the time. I did have these. I thought I'd try them. So what I do use them for is to if there's an overhang on the top and it's going inward, you know, like this, then you can use these so-called life extenders, put them in there like that, and then put them in your bag, and it will straighten this out over time without taking the chance of doing any damage by pressing it. Because what I found out about this book, this is like, in the condition that it's in right now, I think it would come back at least a 6.0, and that makes it like an $18,000 book, believe it or not. $18,000. I paid $60 for this in 2003. And in 2010, I'm looking at the different price guides. I wrote it down here. It was worth $90. And in 2024, average price of this is $20,000. I didn't even know it until this year. I thought it was maybe a few $100, but then I looked at it. I thought, what? That can't be right. So I looked on eBay, other sites. Sure enough, it's an extremely expensive book. But I gotta take much better care of it. I do. As a matter of fact, is there an overhang on the bottom? There might be a slight overhang on the bottom. Maybe that's why I put that life extender in there, because it does have a bit of an overhang on the bottom. Yes, indeed. See? I don't know if you can see it. If you look at it carefully, you can tell right there there's a tiny bit of an overhang on the bottom where the bottom edge of the front cover turns inward. So that's what I use these extenders for. I put it in between the inside cover and the comic, and then I put it back into the bag. It's on very heavy I use double backer boards, acid free. So this is a book. When I found out the value of this book, I thought to myself I should get it graded, and then because I don't have anybody to leave it to. If something happens to me, I want to make sure my wife knows the value of this book, and that it's going to be, can be easily sold by her. If it's graded, I can put a label on the back of it saying what the value is, and she can easily look it up too in the price guide once, you know, it's graded, so she doesn't get, nobody would take advantage of her. Yeah, I don't know if that would come back as a 6.0. Maybe that would come back as a 5.5. I don't know. Or maybe it might come back as a, because it's got off-white pages. For added protection, I put it in one of these file boxes. Would you believe I picked this up at the Dollar Tree? They had these there for, well, how much was it? $3. $3 for this. So, here you go, lads. Well, oh, yeah, I was going out the other day, you know, and I had, what did I have to do? I had, where did I go? What was this? There's a note here. My wife left me a note, kind of sarcastic. Where's preserved driver? Where did I go? I can't remember where I went. I can't remember where I went, but she wrote down the best way for me to go there because she went there. Was it that wasn't a grocery store. I can't remember where it was, but she said go this way. So she wrote down the instructions. You know, Harlem northbound near Forest Preserve Drive. Then oh no, she didn't write down the instructions. Where was I going? Oh, I was going to the a library, the Eisenhower Library, and she's writing down Harlem northbound near Forest Preserve and Irving Park Road. Big holes in the right lane. Your favorite. Stay left. She thinks I'm always driving through holes and potholes. I only do that when I'm drinking. Man, oh man. And then she gets mad, you know, people get mad at me for driving drunk, you know, and then if they don't like it, they should stay off the sidewalk. I'm kidding, I don't drink, I don't do that. I do my drinking in a tavern and sing a little bit of these working man blues. Well, it's great to be back. And, sorry, this got longer than I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to try my best to upload videos on a regular basis now. But do check out those channels, Charlton66 and Dope Comics and Time Travel Comics. And I'll leave the link to all three of those channels in the description box. And I'm going to try to leave a shout out for a new channel in every video that I upload from now on. And you know, give other people some recognition and so forth. All right, thanks for tuning in and for sticking with me in my absence. I surely do appreciate it. And see you all next time. Bye-bye.